What makes you representative of the voters of your district, Newtown and Monroe? We'll start in the reverse order of the opening statements, and we'll start with Ms. Hovey on this.
Thank you, Curtis. What makes me representative of the 112th is that I live in the 112th. I have a family. I have been your state representative now for 8 years. I have advocated for you constantly and consistently. I'm always in the neighborhood. I'm always around town. I work hard. I know what the struggles are. I know what it means to work and to have kids going to college, to have a husband who's a firefighter. I know what it means to make the mortgage. I have lived the same American dream that all of you are living. I love this community. I respect its historic values. I want to preserve them. I love our open space and the quality of life that we provide here for our children. It's wonderful. I've brought home more money than any other state representative in the history of the 112th. I have garnered more open space for our communities. You know, we talk about different things. Some of the things that I've done have had nothing to do with legislation. I meet with my constituency down here in a couple of the different restaurants. You'll see me because I don't want them having to travel to Hartford. It's a grind to get up there to see me. I make sure that I'm here, that I'm visible, and I'm accessible to them. One of the things that I'm most proud of in my tenure as a state representative is I worked with the DPUC and got biodiesel fuel classified as a Class 1 resource so that we can use it as an alternative fuel. I didn't have legislation that was proposed. I didn't, vote for a bill or against a bill. I worked with the entity that was in charge of that. The same thing that I'm doing here with our first select woman, I'm working with the entities in charge of the Department of Agriculture. We have a meeting here on Friday.
Thank you.
It's quite away.
Mr. Ferguson.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I am representative of Newtown. I have not been here for hundreds of years like some of you have, but I have been here for some time, and I am a husband, a father, a homeowner, a taxpayer, a volunteer, have served on the Conservation Commission, have served on the Inland Wetlands Commission. I'm serving currently on the Legislative Council as an elected official and as the chairman of your Ordinance Committee and the members of your Administration and your Education Committee. So I have been putting back into the community for many years and will continue to do so. What is great about Newtown is it's quaint, it's nicer, it's historic, it's beautiful, and it's a great place to live. People are, and I want to first, before I leave and end this question, I want to thank Chris Liddy, Michelle Mount, Deborah Lee Hovey, and Curtis Clark for giving us the opportunity to do this. The Bee is probably one of the best citizens that we have in town. John Boquette, Kendra Bobowick, Nancy Crevier, everybody in this town kind of coalesces together. It's a kind of a difficult thing, I think, for all of us here, having to kind of go at each other a little bit. Fundamentally, I recognize that everybody that's sitting up on the stage is part of the solution, and that their heart is in the right place, and that they ultimately have our best interests in heart. In summing up, basically, I do think I am the right person to go and represent Newtown, and will represent your interests.
Thank you. Ms. Mount.
I think what makes me qualified to represent the taxpayers in the 112th is that in 8 years, I haven't seen my property taxes go down. I haven't seen taxes go down. I haven't seen things get better. And I have a lot of energy and a lot of passion, and I want to make sure things get better. I applaud everyone, no matter what their position is, for taking part in the community. In fact, When I was elected town council member, I attended over 40 budget workshops. Ms. Hovey didn't attend one. So I've been out there, and I knock on doors. And another reason is because I've also been touched by, my husband was laid off. We faced no health insurance, just like a lot of people. And I understand your struggles, and I want to help. We have to make sure that we do listen to the people. I've been a legislative advocate for 7 years. I'm on the state, I was appointed by the Speaker of House to the State Law Revision Commission. I've had the unique opportunity to work with private citizens as well as for municipalities in Hartford. Again, I love this area. I love this community. I love Edmond Town Hall. I love in fact, I wish there was a movie there tonight because I love bringing my kids here. I love the quaintness, and my husband will tell you, I badgered him until when we at one time lived out of state to come back to Connecticut because my roots are here, my heart is with the people, and I want to be your voice in Hartford. I hope you'll support me in November.
Thank you. And finally, Mr. Liddy.
Thank you. And what makes me representative of Newtown is, as many of you know, I grew up here. I attended the Newtown public schools, and my family's been here for over 30 years now. I find it very important that people who are rooted in their community give back to their community. And so one of the reasons I decided to run initially and continue to want to run is because I want to give back to a community that has given me and provided me and my family and friends with so much over the course of our lives here. Whether it be the schools, the properties, the open space, the opportunities, etc. Secondly, I have served on a number of boards of nonprofits who are really the anchor in delivering many of the services that our constituents and people depend on, not only here in Newtown, but in surrounding communities. And I find that very important that we continue to look at them, support them, so that they can continue to do the good work that we expect of them. Finally, my ability to reach across the aisle to get the job done, I think, is perhaps the most important reason that I am representative of this community. I have worked with Senator McKinney, Deborah Lee Hovey on some issues, as well as our first select woman, and I don't put politics in front of the people that matter, and the people that matter are the people of Newtown. So I believe that not necessarily a bipartisan, but a nonpartisan approach to many of the issues that we're dealing with here is very important. And that's what people in Newtown want and expect of their representatives.